I'm Kevin Watts. I'm the owner of K. Watts & Company, and this is my TII. I'm a collector of TIIs. At one point I had 7 of them. So we're thinning the herd a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. And this is actually the crown jewels of my collection or anybody's. 2017, I was going through some health problems and my buddies figured it out. And as I was laying there in a hospital bed hooked up to chemo, they all started sending me pictures of cars they saw. And one of my friends was driving down a neighborhood in San Diego and got to the end of the street and couldn't turn his truck and trailer around at the end of the street. So he backed his trailer into the driveway, looked in the rearview mirror, and he saw this TII with one taillight sticking out from under a car cover, and took a picture of it and sent it to me and went home and calls me up and says, "Is that something I'd be interested in?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "How nice is it?" He says, "I don't know. I didn't stop and look at it." I said, "Well, go back and look at it." I went back and looked at it and said, "God, I think the car's original." I was like, "Well, if it is, see if you can buy it, see how much it'll cost." And made the guy a couple of offers, and the guy told him to go pound sand. And he calls me up and says, "Well, what do I do?" I said, "Well, go offer him whatever the hell he wants if you're sure it's an original car." And he went back for a day and made the guy a bunch of offers, and we finally got the car. The car hadn't run at that time in 18 years. And he went and picked it up and brought it to another mechanic to have it looked at, and they got it running, and I ended up with a car. And I looked for years for an original paint TII, and they're just unicorns. They don't exist. And then when you find one, there's always some problem. The car was a northern car and the bottom of the car was horrific, or one fender had been painted because it got bumped. This one's never been sprayed, never been painted, a couple dabs and a few rock chips, and that was it. I sent the car to Bruce Canepa up in Northern California and had him go over the car and clean it. And he and his guys spent the week underneath the car scrubbing it, and wow, it's just a real car. It had never been taken apart and put back together. It's just a phenomenal original. I got the car shipped and drove it a couple times, not very far. And the more I look at the car, the more I realize what a special car it is. The glass is original, the paint's all original, the engine's original. Nothing looks like it was taken apart for any reason other than maintenance. We found piles of receipts, the manuals, the air conditioning manual, everything's dated correctly. The air conditioning manual is 12 of 73. They have the date on it. It's a 2-owner car. I talked to the gentleman I bought it off of, and he said, he found it in a classified ad in 1982 and bought it off the original owner. And it's always been a San Diego car. I'd never seen anything like this. And then the wheels, a few of the wheels are date stamped 1973 when we had them refinished. And then this is one of those cars that deserves the best. So you go to put the wheels on it, and then you go to buy tires, and you really need to order period correct tires. So we got the Pirelli CN36s on it. We've tuned it, tweaked it, rubbed it, These cars were very expensive in 1972 when they came out over here. The TII was fuel injected. So because the cars were so expensive, they only sold in areas where there was money. Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago. And they sold in those places and they all rusted out. This car's 50 years old. I'm a hair older than 50, but I look a hell of a lot rougher than this car. And it's just, the more I drive it, the more I rub on it, the more I look at it, I just realize how pure it is. It's as close as you're going to get to finding the flying nun in a BMW. You know, their advertising campaign in the 80s was BMW was the ultimate driving machine. This will do it. And everybody has a story. You stop at a gas station to fill it with gas. And like, oh, my father had one, my uncle had one, my college roommate had one, my cousin had one. And that's why there are none of them around. They were rarely sold and usually passed down with tons of miles and rusted out and thrown away. This is a special car. It needs to go to a special home and somebody who appreciates the originality of one of these. Anybody can restore a car, but they're only original once. And I've been lucky enough for the past 6-7 years to have been the caretaker of this car. It's time for a new caretaker. I just, you know, I've never shown the car. Part of the reason of buying it was because I wanted to take it to the Concours on the Avenue in Carmel and win with it. And the car's that good, it will win. And never got the opportunity. The Concours disappeared. And it's just, this is a special, special car. Deserves to go to the right home.